Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera dan selamat pagi saya ucapkan kepada barisan Exco, fellow kanan dan fellow Akademi Sains Malaysia yang dihormati. Selamat datang ke Mesyuarat Agung Tahunan ke-27 Akademi Sains Malaysia dan masih belum terlambat untuk saya ucapkan Selamat Hari Raya Aidilfitri, maaf zahir batin. Sejak Malaysia memulakan fasa peralihan ke endemik bermula 1 April 2022, kita kini boleh berkumpul semula secara fizikal, dan setelah 2 tahun menjalankan mesyuarat agung tahunan secara dalam talian, hari ini kita menjalankan mesyuarat ini secara hybrid. Dan Exco dan pihak pengurusan ASM pada hari ini beroperasi di Pejabat Akademi Sains Malaysia, manakala yang lain pula berada secara dalam talian. Dan sejak kita menjalankan mesyuarat agung tahunan secara dalam talian, saya dapati jumlah kehadiran fellow amat memberansangkan. Dan di sini saya ingin berkongsi sedikit maklumat. Kehadiran bagi mesyuarat agung tahunan ke-27 kali ini melibatkan sejumlah 204 daripada 415 fellow Akademi Sains, dan saya ucapkan di sini setinggi-tinggi penghargaan dan terima kasih pada semua yang sudi meluangkan masa untuk hadir pada pagi ini walaupun secara maya. Dan sebelum saya meneruskan ucapan saya pada hari ini, saya ingin menjemput hadirin untuk memberikan penghormatan kepada fellow ASM yang telah meninggal dunia. Fellow yang beragama Islam boleh membacakan Al-Fatihah, manakala fellow lain boleh memberikan penghormatan mengikut amalan masing-masing. Sesungguhnya pemergian mereka adalah kehilangan yang amat besar kepada Akademi Sains Malaysia dan juga kepada negara. Al-Fatihah.
Allah.
Alhamdulillah, terima kasih saya ucapkan pada semua. Fellow kanan dan fellow Akademi Sains Malaysia, izinkan saya meneruskan ucapan dalam bahasa Inggeris. Since my appointment as president on the 28th of December in 2016, I have seen the Academy grow from strength to strength, and I am truly proud to have been given the privilege to lead this esteemed organization for the past 5.5 years. However, my term as president is reaching its end by the 28th of December of this year, and today is a very special day for me since it marks my last presidential address at the ASM 27th Annual General Meeting. Time flies, ladies and gentlemen, and already it's been almost 6 years. The Academy, based on our mandate since its inception, continuously provide recommendations and solutions to basically improve the country that we love, which is Malaysia. Now, as a thought leader in science, technology, innovation, and economy, our main role is to use our expertise and wisdom to put forward robust solutions to our national challenges. Now, all of us here have had scientific training one way or another. And as a scientific community, we make sure that our discoveries are evidence-based and not by speculation. And that is how Academy has been operating for the last 27 years. And we play our role as the voice of reason for the nation. We provide robust solutions to our national challenges through science, technology, innovation, and economy. Fellows of the Academy, to bring you back to the time when I humbly took the leadership of the Academy in December 2016, I'm thankful by the bold decision of the previous leadership to spend Academy's reserve money to actually work on various studies. And Alhamdulillah, I am pleased to report to you that our surplus from 2016, which when I took over was at 1.496804 million, has now accumulated to the total of 9.793,058 million in 2021. And this shows that the wisdom and the calculated risks that were made by the previous council, led by the immediate past president, academician Tan Sri Datuk Dr. Insinyur Ahmad Tajuddin Ali, to use most of the reserve money for the academy to kickstart all of our flagship studies like Mega Science, Foresight Studies, Science Outlook have all now come to fruition. And I'm glad that when I hand over leadership now to the new president, Academy has enough reserve money to continuously and constantly produce impactful studies and programs that I hope will transform the nation. I also would like to inform the fellows that our financial status as of now is stabilizing. Let me share with you the history of our operational budget. Way back when, in 1995, we started off with a launching grant of 12.4 million. And in 2004, we started receiving annual operating budget from MOSTI to a tune of RM 1 million per year. So I'm now pleased to announce that we, with all of our efforts and the way we are positioning the academy as a thought leader, the government now today has increased our operational budget from 1 million to now 13.5 million in 2022. So let us hope that this situation continues and our financial status will be stronger for the years to come. Now, in terms of the academy studies, from the year 2010 to 2022, we have undertaken basically 75 studies comprising of flagship studies, policy studies, as well as strategic studies. Now, meanwhile, since 2015, a total of 27 commissioned studies have been carried out to date. And this means that on the average, the academy carries out 9 to 10 studies per year, while, you know, if you ask any other organization, on the average, one only produces 3 or 4 studies per year. And we are now producing 9 to 10 studies per year. Of course, the fellows can ask this concern, you know, like, are we producing quantity or are we producing quality studies? That question, are our studies impactful to the nation? I think you have the right to ask that. So let us now examine whether we have been doing it right. So let us look at the Science Outlook. When Academy first published and presented the Science Outlook 2015, we may have stepped on a few toes. The findings of the STI performance reported in the Science Outlook 2015 may not be exemplary, but it is a first independent report to show the reality of our national STI landscape. Now, for Science Outlook 2015 and Science Outlook 2017, 36 recommendations were proposed in the studies, of which 22 recommendations, or 80% of what we recommended, was successfully accepted by the government. And we managed now to position Science Outlook as a biennial independent STI report from the Academy. It has now, our Science Outlook, I'm proud to say, it has been referred by the government, by the industries and international bodies such as OECD, etc. The latest report, Science Outlook 2020, Unlocking the Future, led by Datuk Dr. Saleh Jaapar and team, explored the progress and development of STI in Malaysia since the declaration of Vision 2020. It is the first time we have actually looked at the impact of our nation from the STI perspective over a 30-year duration in the development of Malaysia from the angle of economic vibrancy, societal well-being, and environmental sustainability. Now, this report findings have shown various stakeholders that the progress of a nation is not only measured by gross domestic product or GDP or national expenditure, but it is just as much about ensuring the overall quality of life and well-being of its citizens. A successful country also makes sure that the growth of today is not at the expense of the future generations. Through this report, Academy has given a new definition of what a developed nation is all about in the true sense of a balanced development. Now, as a thought leader since 2011, we have been given the opportunity to present 17 papers, 17 papers deriving from our studies at the high-level council, like the National Science Council, the High-Tech Nation Council, the National Mineral Council, and Majlis Air Negara. And this shows an average of basically 1 to 2 papers per year have been presented at the highest national councils that we can now make a difference in changing the policies of the country. Now, this proves that the Academy, as a thought leader, has answered the question on impact. We have shown impact in choreographing the STI landscape of the country. But of course, the real impact is seen when our ideas have been implemented with understanding on the ground. I think this is very important. And the latest achievement is when the government accepted the 1010 My STIE as the framework under the National Policy for Science, Technology and Innovation, as the STI planning tool and as the game changer under the 12th Malaysia Plan. This framework, led by Professor Mahendra Nair, consisting of 10 Malaysian socio-economic drivers and 10 science and technology drivers, systematically transforms Malaysia into a knowledge-intensive economy, not by chance, but this time by design. So to date, Academy has done nearly 200 engagement. This is to make sure our ideas on 1010 is properly understood by the implementers on the ground. So we had about 200 engagement with ministries, with agencies, with industries, with state government, international bodies like the Islamic Development Bank, the APEC, ASEAN, Commonwealth, and others. To date, there are about 8,500 downloads, ladies and gentlemen, 8,500 downloads of the framework from 68 countries, 68 countries, involving around 17,000 readers regarding the 1010 My STIE. Now, Malaysia, through the Academy, has also been recognized as one of the countries actively using foresight as a planning tool for STIE by the UK government, through their report on features of effective systemic foresight in governments around the world. Fellows of the Academy, I hope that I have explained how we have shown the deliverables as the voice of reason for the nation using STIE. As for now, we are working as strategic partners with all ministries and state governments to actually ensure that our ideas are implemented and cascaded correctly and with understanding. For your information, among the national policies that have been formulated by the Academy are the National Policy on IR 4.0, 2018 to 2025, National Entrepreneurship Policy 2030, that's also by ASM, National Policy on Science, Technology, Innovation, NPSTI 2021-2030, and the STI Master Plan, also by ASM, National Nanotech Policy and Strategy 2021-2030, National Nuclear Technology Policy 2021-2030, and National Policy on Biotech 2.0 2022 to 2030, National Robotics Roadmap 2021-2030, and of course, finally, the Water Sector Transformation 2040. And this shows the recognition that the various ministries have basically accepted Academy as the point of reference and thought leader to actually give input for STIE for all of the national policy and the main contributor to the formulation of policy for STIE. Now, the evidence-based recommendations and the strategic outline that I've mentioned earlier provides Academy the strong footing to actually engage better with the stakeholders. Now, this is the Academy's proactive effort to actually put forward our impactful recommendations and continue to be persistent to promote the STIE agenda nationwide. The Academy is always committed to actually provide inputs to the government to build conducive STIE ecosystem for the country towards becoming a high-tech nation by 2030 that is progressive, prosperous, harmonious, and sustainable in line with the shared prosperity vision. Now, the Academy also recognizes the need for being proactive, and we have effectively actually become the bridge that connects all parties to collaborate and prevent silos. And we are now starting to execute not just how, but actually how to do the how on selective strategic initiatives that can give a multiplier impact to the nation. Now, let me share with you some of the selective strategic initiatives that we do as a pilot project. Now, Malaysia Open Science Platform. Let me begin with the first one, Malaysia Open Science Platform, or MOSP, led by Professor Dr. Nur Saadah Abdul Rahman, aims to basically set up an open science platform with the end game of an open innovation ecosystem. Now, through the MOSP initiative, we will develop the platform and open up sharing of research data to the industry, to civil society, and connecting with other open science platforms globally. Now, to date, MOSP have trained, this is another important agenda of MOSP. You know, the country needs data stewards and data scientists. So we have trained, Academy Science, have trained 231 data stewards with focus to build the capacity of the data stewards and data curators in Malaysia that will be able to assist and support research data based on open science and best practices according to FAIR, which is findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable principle in the research ecosystem. And we hope that by the end of this year, we can connect 5 research universities, Malaysian 5 research universities, with 2 satellites project, that is COVID-19 and precision biodiversity, as a good cluster of research data under MOSP. Now, the second strategic initiative that I would like to discuss is the Malaysian Collaborative Network Platform for Disruptive Innovation, in short, iConnect, which is led by Yang Mulia Academician Tengku Datuk Dr. Muhammad Azman Sarifadin, will enable demand-driven R&D and market-driven delivery system towards enhancing Malaysia's innovation capacity and commercialization success. This will be one of the solutions to basically close the innovation chasm and get the industry to actually contribute to R&D, and that will ultimately increase the National Business Enterprise R&D contribution, or BERD, from 46% to 70% by 2025 under the 12th Malaysia Plan. A 3-year pilot project from 2019 to 2022 looks into 4 clusters. iConnect looks into 4 clusters, which is digital healthcare, halal supply chain, fintech and Islamic finance, and industry 4.0 in manufacturing. And to date, ladies and gentlemen, we have embarked on 5 collaborative projects between industry and researchers, with a commitment of more than RM 7 million from the industry and RM 5 million from the government. So this reflects that more than 50% of total contribution actually comes from the industry. So if we do it right, industry will come in and put in their the money. So to date, we have involved 145 industries and 15 universities in charting the strategic plan of the 4 clusters. And we will document this 3-year pilot project as the guideline for innovation intermediaries to actually replicate the mechanism of iConnect, and hopefully to create more clusters in other strategic socio-economic areas, and hopefully develop an ecosystem for R&D that is based on demand-driven and market delivery system. The next project that I would like to share with you is on precision biodiversity, led by Dr. Helen Nair and academician Tan Sri Saleh Maknor as advisor, that aims basically to connect, to monitor and manage our biodiversity resources using digital technology. A strategic and transformative approach is required by Malaysia to actually improve our biodiversity conservation, preservation, and management. So under the Precision Biodiversity Project, we have basically attained a ceiling of RM 7 million development grant from EPU. This is given to Academy Science Malaysia for us to actually showcase one pilot project in Pasoh Forest Reserve, Negeri Sembilan. Now, in this project, we are combining cross-cutting technology, right, such as robotics, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and digital technology, all involving experts from the academy, experts from University Technology Malaysia, and experts from University Putra Malaysia. So we hope that upon completion of this pilot project, the same system can now be used to monitor other forest reserves under FRIM and can be adopted by the state governments. The fourth pilot project that I would like to share is the wireless bridging led by our top research scientist Malaysia recipient, Professor Dr. Muhammad Ramli Kamarudin from UTHM, University Tun Hussein on Malaysia. Now, the Academy through MOSTI has proposed to Kementerian Pembangunan Luar Bandar, KPLB, a frugal technology of wireless bridging system that can be the solution to bridge the gap of 5%, note that, 5% areas that is not covered with internet connectivity under the Jalinan Digital Negara Plan or Jendela. The pilot project is in Kampung Kuala Pajam, Selangor, and this pilot project, inshallah, will be ready by June 2022, next month, to be showcased to MOSTI, to KPLB, to Sabah State Government, to Kementerian Perumahan dan Kerajaan Tempatan, dan Kementerian Komunikasi dan Multimedia. Recently, we have also been made known that Langkawi is facing an issue in retaining their UNESCO Global Geopark status. In ensuring the status remains, MOSTI have agreed to open another sandbox focusing on social innovation in Langkawi. Under this initiative, MOSTI has tasked Academy to lead one of the projects to rehabilitate sea cucumber or gamat that is almost extinct. And this will be a joint collaboration between Academy with 3 universities, namely University Science Malaysia, University Malaysia Terengganu, and University Islam Antarabangsa, IUM, led by our fellow, Professor Datuk Dr. Eileen Tan. This is our approach. This is basically our approach now to be proactive in giving a rapid response to solution to the people through the STIE approach. We bring together experts from various universities, from research institute and players, and from a national team. And actually, basically, we form a national team to address national challenges. The proactive efforts shown has established Academy with a strong track record on addressing how to do the how for the selective strategic initiatives that will benefit the country, where we enhance the national collaborative innovation, the research ecosystem, and the societal well-being. Fellows of the Academy, in the Academy, we have the crème de la crème, of course, in scientific community. Therefore, we as individuals and as organization can play a vital role as an STIE influencer. Now, this is our effort to actually share our vision to shift our country to a knowledge-driven nation. Now, the Academy creates several platforms and programs for fellows to be a role model, to share their vision and showcase their expertise to the public through conventional and new medium of media, right? The Academy has shown a significant increase in social media followers that include the noticeable platform like Facebook. We are just not into newspapers now, ladies and gentlemen. This is now the new era where we are now on the platform like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok, right? So Academy is basically now privileged with the contributions of our expert network, be it from senior fellows, from the fellows, from Young Scientist Network, from our associates, from our top research scientists, and of course, from our Mahathir Science Award laureates. And to date, we have close to 50,000 followers. Academy now has 50,000 followers on all platforms, double of what I had reported in the last AGM in 2019. So one of the push factors for the increase in the number of followers that we now have is our effort in producing the fact sheets. Now, looking back during the height of COVID-19 pandemic, Academy through our SIG, Small Interest Group on COVID-19, actually employs new ways of presenting science to the public. The COVID-19 fact sheet series have been downloaded up to 35,000 times, where it helps in educating the public on how the virus propagates, how to protect yourself from the virus, and the importance of vaccine in mitigating the virus spread. Our efforts do not only focus on social media per se, we also emphasize on programs like Fascinate. Now, Fascinate actually features a refreshed format, transitioning from a formal lecture style that we usually present to a now more casual engagement to bring science closer to the community. Now, the program aims to inspire the public to actually continue to engage the Malaysian public to open their minds to the width and breadth of science and technology. And to date, there have been 5 series that feature 21 of our Academy's expert network, and Fascinate has reached out to more than 10,000 viewers online in the Academy's Facebook and YouTube. And the latest series of Fascinate, I hope you all will join in, will be aired on the 1st of June, 2022, just around the corner. An impactful program that influences young minds to be interested in STEM education is the National Science Challenge, again led by Professor Nur Saadah and team, and this time the team comprises of the Young Scientist Network members. Since its inception in 1999, our flagship, the National Science Challenge, has received more than 40,000 participants from students nationwide. The impact analysis study in 2019 has shown that the National Science Challenge actually played a significant role in developing students' interest in STEM and increases their soft skills like communication, teamwork, critical thinking, creativity, problem solving, and time management. To date, this year's edition, I'm proud to announce, we have received a total of more than 1,000 teams registered nationwide. Now, to continue its legacy of being an educational magazine, Academy revived the st.my publication in digital form via est.my, a portal that basically focuses on education of STI topics and figures in an easy yet understandable format. And to date, est.my, ladies and gentlemen, have about 15,100 readers from Malaysia and various countries, not only Malaysia, various countries like even United States, India, China, Philippines, just to name a few, have all logged into est.my. Academy has also produced a training module called the Science Communication Module, which was recently launched by the MOSTI Minister Yang Berhormat Datuk Seri Dr. Adam Baba. Now, this module, led by Dr. Karia, our communication trainer for Fascinate, and her YSN team, has actually produced this first of its kind Train the Trainers module on science communications that is useful for scientists, for teachers, for researchers, and of course, the media practitioners, so that they can now write science in an effective way and become an effective science communicator. And to date, we are still receiving continuous orders from different stakeholders for this module. So congratulations to Dr. Karia and team from the Young Scientist Network. Now, as the influencer to the government, Academy in 2021 has published a report on the Sungai Kim Kim and Pasir Gudang incident, whereby we have been quoted in the front page of Tulisan Malaysia, and the e-version of the report has about 5,700 downloads from not only Malaysia, ladies and gentlemen, but from 36 countries worldwide. These are some of the examples of how, as an influencer, we had engaged and disseminated knowledge and information on STIE to the public. Now, on top of that, Academy has also set up our own studio named Prisma at 20. And this has become one of the facilities at our office to basically conduct more STIE engagement and production of videos at a lower cost in the long term. Now, via the modern and latest equipment, like what I'm using now, which is a teleprompter, the Academy has also established the Asm Podcast. Now, this is a new way of engagement to the public through the digital audio that is now made available and can be listened to anytime, anywhere on current STIE topics. Now, all this is done to actually create impact in the new normal using the new media. As an influencer, we also play an important role at the national international level. And I'm proud of our experts who are sitting in these positions of influence. To name a few recently, we have Associate Professor Dr. Chai Lei Ching, the YSN ASM chairperson, who is now appointed as a member of the National Science Council, amplifying the voice of the young scientists in charting the direction of Malaysia's STIE journey. Next one is Professor Dr. Nur Saadah Abdul Rahman, Malaysia's focal point at UNESCO Open Science Advisory Committee. She has been there since April of 2020. Next is, of course, our Professor Emerita Tan Sri Dr. Mazlan Osman. She's now on the ASEAN Foresight Alliance Committee, Chair of the Board of Advisor. And the next one is Professor Datuk Dr. Aisha Bidin, who is recently elected as the Malaysian representative to the ASEAN Intergovernmental Commission on Human Rights for the term of 2022 to 2024. So I'm hopeful that in the future, the Academy can see more and more of our expert network achieve the successes and recognition either locally or internationally. Now, moving forward, all of us can become the influencer of STIE for the betterment of the nation, inshallah. So with more achievement and influence that our expert network has brought throughout the 27 years of Academy's inception, this has led us to converge towards grand ideas, not smaller ones, now converging towards grand ideas. Now, the Academy as an independent advisory body have also the ability to actually bring all the different players to come together and produce a national plan. The Academy has brought in international players like United Kingdom, Australia, Korea, alongside our 4 ministries, namely MOSTI, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and the Prime Minister's Department to actually produce the National COVID-19 Immunization Program Handbook. In just 2 weeks, together with our expert network in the SIG or Small Interest Group COVID-19, comprising fellows, Young Scientist Network and Top Research Scientists Malaysia's input, coordinated by our management team, the handbook was launched by the Prime Minister in just 2 weeks, launched in February of 2021. Now, through various studies like Science Outlook, now we are moving on converging to grand ideas. We took over findings from Science Outlook, from zoonosis, from blue economy and COVID-19 and strengthening the environmental governance in Malaysia. The Academy this year now put all these ideas together into the Planetary Health paper that we just presented to the National Science Council. So driven by STIE, this paper is to mainstream planetary health in all national policies and plans via a whole of nation approach to address the ecosystems, the biodiversity, the health, the climate change, etc., for sustainable development. So recently, on the 8th of April 2022, the National Science Council agreed for MOSTI via Academy Science to actually formulate the National Planetary Health Action Plan by making Malaysia a country that is resilient to future challenges. And I would like to congratulate all of our expert network that have worked relentlessly to actually make sure the approval of this action plan. The effort that started with these small focus studies and strategic outlines have now been translated and converged into one major action plan. And this is Academy's challenge now to materialize this Planetary Health Action Plan by 2023. So we need input and support from all of our expert network to ensure that this is a doable action plan to be carried out nationally via the whole of nation and whole society approach. Another piece of good news, ladies and gentlemen, last Wednesday, this is only last Wednesday, MOSTI has requested Academy to actually set up a war room that serves now as a platform to bring experts, stakeholders, industries, and other relevant parties in coming up with an immediate solution for current issues, especially in the main sector of the country. Now, this directive seems to me timely as the Academy can now leverage and converge our WeHab plus committee, water, energy, health, agriculture, biodiversity plus, and whatever else that is now relevant, who can now play a more active role as a connector and intermediary to address the issues faced by the nation. Now, to me, ladies and gentlemen, this is the ultimate recognition to ASM and to our fellows, as the government now has affirmed its recognition of the ASM expert network to actually now be able to address national issues like for example, as brought up by the senior members, low number of STEM students, maybe we should address this, and agricultural problems. So in short, ladies and gentlemen, what I want to say here is that our opinion now counts. So I'm very excited, but at the same time apprehensive over this new development. We need to leverage this platform, leverage it cautiously and wisely to actually steer the nation on the correct path. So fellows of the Academy, looking back at all the 4 points of reference that I have listed, which are the voice of reason, proactive, influencer, and convergent, it now leads us to one more mission for the Academy to actually now become an effective change maker. When we do the selective, impactful, and how to do the how, I hope that it can be rolled out nationally for us to actually transform our nation using STIE to actually become a high-tech nation by 2030 and achieve the shared prosperity vision. So ladies and gentlemen, we all know that we live in a rapidly transforming, interconnected world of the new normal. The size and complexity of local and global challenges need change makers of every shape and size. So the Academy should play our role as a change maker across national spectrum towards creating our future. The new phase of our journey through the latest strategic plan for ASM 2021-2025 charts the path for us to be a change maker with the inculcation of the WOW mindset. What do we mean by WOW? World-class, outstanding, the hearts and minds of the people as well. So among the criteria of being a change maker are to be creative, unique, revolutionary, impactful, trendsetter, futuristic, and evolving. So based on the build inside, deploy outside philosophy, this strategic plan will translate our ideas into action and actually empower the citizens' STIE knowledge to actually become the future-proof change maker with 6 strategies, namely to be independent, influential, sustainable, agile, nexus, proponent, and convene. Our journey, beginning as the voice of reason, has made us to be proactive, and in doing some tangible projects to basically showcase the effectiveness of our recommendations. Now, moving forward as a learned body, we claim the space to now become the influencer of STIE for the country and to the region globally. Now, subsequently, we are also now moving towards initiatives that converge towards grand ideas. And ultimately, this journey will end in Academy becoming an effective change maker for the country and for the years to come. So let me now recapitulate the Academy's journey for 27 years. We started off as a humble organization, laying down the foundation for Academy to be an effective organization. Then we evolved as a think tank in 2010, and then we become a thought leader in 2015, and we are now charting a new journey of now becoming an effective change maker. So all these endeavors, as you know, cannot be done overnight. Rome was never built in a day. Now, this is the work of leadership from past presidents and the effort of all of us since inception of Academy Science Malaysia. Fellow Academy yang saya hormati, saya ingin mengambil kesempatan ini untuk merakamkan jutaan terima kasih kepada Puan Hazami dan juga pihak pengurusan Akademi yang telah bekerja keras untuk memastikan Mesyuarat Agung Tahunan ke-27 ASM dan pelancaran buku berjalan dengan lancar. Terima kasih juga pada barisan Exco, kepada ahli majlis Akademi Sains Malaysia dan warga YSN yang sentiasa bekerjasama dan memberi sokongan padu pada saya setakat ini. Secara peribadi, saya juga ingin mengucapkan jutaan terima kasih kepada Puan Hazami Habib dan Puan Nitya Samuel kerana sentiasa memberi pandangan, pertolongan dan dorongan pada saya semasa menjalankan tugas. Jasa anda semua amat saya hargai dan tidak dapat saya lupakan. Akhir kalam, selamat bersidang saya ucapkan kepada semua fellow dan didoakan agar semua berada dalam keadaan sihat dan urusan hari ini berjalan lancar dan insya-Allah dipermudahkan. Fellow Kanan dan Fellow Akademi Sains Malaysia serta Barisan Exco yang saya hormati, kini kita memasuki ke bahagian kedua program hari ini, iaitu pelancaran buku autobiografi dan buku saintifik karya Allahyarham Academician Tan Sri Dr. Ahmad Mustafa Babji. Saya mewakili Akademi Sains Malaysia pada hari ini berbesar hati untuk mengalu-alukan kehadiran Encik Ahmad Syamil, anak kepada Allahyarham Academician Tan Sri Dr. Ahmad Mustafa Babji di Akademi Sains Malaysia. Jadi untuk makluman semua, Allahyarham merupakan salah seorang daripada 50 Foundation Fellows yang dilantik pada awal penubuhan akademi pada tahun 1995. Allahyarham meninggal dunia pada 30 April 2019. So marilah kita sama-sama mendoakan semoga roh beliau ditempatkan di kalangan para solehin dan rohnya dicucuri rahmat oleh Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. Bersempena dengan mesyuarat agung tahunan ke-27 pada hari ini, kita akan melancarkan 2 buah buku penulisan Allahyarham, iaitu autobiografi beliau yang berjudul Just an Individual of a Species dan sebuah buku saintifik berjudul The Biology of the Long-Necked Weevil. Saya difahamkan beliau memulakan penulisan kedua-dua buku ini pada usia 75 tahun dan mengambil masa 7 tahun untuk disiapkan. Kesungguhan Allahyarham dalam menerbitkan karya ini sehingga akhir hayatnya menunjukkan dedikasi dan komitmen beliau sebagai seorang saintis yang kita segani. Secara peribadi bagi saya ini adalah contoh seorang fellow yang mencurahkan pengalaman, kebijaksanaan dan pengetahuan tersirat untuk dikongsikan sebagai khazanah ilmu pada kita semua, terutamanya pada mereka di generasi muda, di kalangan generasi muda. Jadi lebih membanggakan, muka hadapan bagi buku The Biology of Long-Necked Weevil telah diilustrasikan oleh anak lelaki Allahyarham, iaitu Encik Ahmad Syamil sendiri atas permintaan Allahyarham sendiri. Sememangnya ilustrasi berkenaan amat unik dan menggambarkan konsep buku berkenaan secara keseluruhannya. Sesungguhnya kedua-dua buku ini adalah satu peninggalan yang amat berharga bagi negara untuk dihayati dan dipelajari oleh kita semua, terutamanya generasi muda. Perkongsian Allahyarham mengenai pengalaman dan perjalanan beliau sebagai pakar veterina menerusi autobiografinya sudah pasti mengimbas kenangan lalu, rakan seperjuangan beliau serta mampu untuk memberi inspirasi kepada golongan saintis dan juga orang ramai. Manakala buku saintifiknya mengenai penyelidikan berkenaan spesies kumbang unik long-necked weevil akan menjelaskan lebih lanjut kajian mendalam mengenai serangga ini. Allahyarham juga mencadangkan kajian lanjutan yang boleh dijalankan dan bagaimana para saintis boleh menggunakan ciri spesies berkenaan dalam kajian biomimikan ataupun biomimicry dan deria bagi pembangunan teknologi untuk kepentingan manusia dan alam sekitar. Jadi dengan lafaz Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, saya dengan ini melancarkan buku Just as an Individual of a Species dan juga The Biology of the Long-Necked Weevil, hasil karya Allahyarham Academician Tan Sri Dr. Ahmad Mustafa Babji. Sekian wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih Datuk Presiden. Dengan ini saya menjemput Dr. Francis Ng untuk membacakan sinopsis buku-buku tersebut. Dengan segala hormatnya, dipersilakan.
Good morning, Madam President and distinguished fellows of the Academy of Sciences, Malaysia. I am Dr. Francis Ng, and it is my honor and pleasure today to introduce to you two books by our late friend and colleague, academician Ahmad Mustafa Babji. The first is his autobiography, 455 pages long. The other is the last piece of research that he did, on which he spent several years. The autobiography is in two parts. One part deals with the events in Mustafa's life. Part two is about his concerns for the future of human society. Mustafa wrote in a very readable style, and he had a lot to say that is relevant to us and to the future of Malaysia as a progressive, harmonious, multicultural, and scientific society. I urge all fellows of the Academy to read his autobiography. Mustafa grew up as a kampong boy in Penang and Kedah. And from the very beginning, he was fascinated by the life around him, which included people, animals, and plants of all kinds. He had an insatiable drive to explore and discover the wonders of nature. Mustafa was not a European fascinated by an exotic foreign environment. Instead, he was locally born and bred and did not have the formal exposure to science until he was sent to Lahore to the College of Animal Husbandry by his father, a government veterinarian in Kedah. At college, he was trained in anatomy, pathology, microbiology, parasitology, and how to handle horses, cattle, sheep, and camels. After graduation, he joined the veterinary department in Kedah and was then sponsored by the Kedah government to undergo further training at the Royal Veterinary College of London. There, among other things, he learned how to treat the domestic pet animals that the British like to keep. After his British training, Mustafa was posted to head the veterinary department of Terengganu. There he set up a laboratory so that he could carry out independent research. In Terengganu, he met the lovely lady who was to become his wife. He next went to the University of Queensland and obtained his PhD. His research was on the viral diseases in poultry. From 1973 to 1977, he was seconded to the University Pertanian, Malaysia, to head the new Department of Veterinary Medicine and Microbiology, and to establish its division of Fisheries and Marine Sciences. After his distinguished stint in academia, he went back to the veterinary department and became its Director General. He reinstated the practice of publishing departmental annual reports. He understood that knowledge is just empty talk until it is published and shared. All through his career, Mustafa led by example, working with farmers and his staff while carrying out research as a scientist and making new knowledge available by publishing regularly. In his autobiography, Mustafa observed that many scientists leave research behind as soon as they are promoted to admin positions. Unlike other heads of departments, he maintained interest in research and publication throughout his career. I first got to know Mustafa when he was director of the veterinary department of Terengganu. I was then secretary of the Malayan Nature Society, and Mustafa was an ardent supporter of the society. Later, we worked together in a team set up by the Forest Research Institute under the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment to propose and plan for the establishment of a natural history museum for Malaysia. For reasons unknown to me, the ministry did not or could not implement our proposal. Mustafa went to the extent of making an appointment with the Prime Minister of Malaysia to push for the establishment of a natural history museum, but found that the Prime Minister was preoccupied with other matters. Mustafa's last piece of research was on the life of an insect, a weevil about 1 centimeter long, belonging to the genus Cynotraculus. This weevil lives on a bushy tree that grows naturally on neglected bits of ground. These plants were available in Bukit Damansara in vacant plots of land around his house. The weevil lives a solitary life with typically one female insect on each tree. To find enough weevils to study, Mustafa located 9 trees around his own house. The female keeps herself busy producing new weevils. She selects a leaf to use as a shelter for each baby. She cuts the leaf partially and rolls up the cut portion to make a rainproof shelter or cradle, in which she deposits 1 egg. Then she looks for another suitable leaf to make a cradle for another egg, and so on and so on. The maximum number of cradles found on one tree was 76. The egg hatches and the larva feeds on the leaf until it metamorphoses into a juvenile weevil. It then flies away. The male weevils have nothing much to do except to compete with each other and to mate with the female. The weevils are only found during the breeding season in June to August. The rest of the time, Mustafa couldn't find out where they had gone. You may be wondering why Mustafa bothered to study this insect and why I am bothering you with the details. I have done this to illustrate a statement in the first paragraph of part 2 of Mustafa's autobiography. Mustafa observed that when he lectures, the reaction of local audiences is sharply different from that of foreign audiences. A local audience has low interest in unconventional or new ideas, whereas a foreign audience would be curious and want to know more. I would say that the difference is actually between Western and non-Western audiences. Those of us who know the history of science know that almost every major advance is based on new knowledge made by Western scientists without bothering about how it will be applied. Totally new technologies result from new knowledge. If we demand that research be justified beforehand by anticipated applications, we will be locked in the past because the only applications we can anticipate would be variations of already existing applications. In this way, we are always behind the West. Mustafa's last piece of research bears testimony to his belief that any research that increases our understanding of nature is futuristic and worthy of respect. Perhaps the ASM should now figure out how to promote Mustafa as a role model to inspire the development of young scientists. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Francis Ng, for the synopsis, and I hope fellows can get a copy of the book. To commemorate the launching, I would like now to invite President Dr. Professor Asm Ismail to open the mock book and put on your signature on the mock book to commemorate the launching of the books. Silakan. Thank you, Dato' Asma. Please, Cik Syamil to take one copy and Dato' Asma to take copy to share with the audience, our fellows all, on the book that has been launched. Dekat tinggi sikit. Yes. Foto. Okay. Thank you, Dato' Asma and Cik Syamil. Sebagai tanda kenang-kenangan dan penghargaan daripada Akademi Sains Malaysia, Cik Syamil mewakili keluarga Akademi ingin menyampaikan naskah penerbitan yang diterbitkan oleh Akademi Sains, penulisan Allahyarham Tan Sri Mustafa Babji. Terima kasih Dato' Asmah, terima kasih Cik Syamil kerana sudi hadir pada hari ini. Dan dengan itu, diminta ahli exco mengambil tempat duduk. Sementara kita ni untuk kita menghayati buku yang baru dilancarkan oleh Datuk Presiden, marilah kita sama-sama menonton video tentang buku yang telah dilancarkan.